July 10, 2017. Mr. Arbaugh, would you please call the roll?
Colella. Consul Magno.
Here.
Dixon.
Here.
Gibbons.
Here.
Hannon.
Present.
Harrison.
Present.
McLean.
Here.
Mowry.
Here.
O'Brien.
Not here. We have seven members present. At this time, I'd like to introduce Boy Scout Troop 215 Honor Guard. They'll do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Everyone please rise for the presentation of the colors. Attention, color guard, advance. Color guard, coast. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Hand over heart, those in uniform, salute. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
2. Color guard, dismissed.
Thank you very much. Okay, at this time, I'd like to turn to chair announcements. On June 26, 2017, executive session was conducted for police interviews and personnel issues. And tonight, before we came out, July 10, 2017, for police interviews. Before we go into the agenda, there has been one change. I think many of you may be here this evening. Under Planning and Zoning, item A, additional parking requirements, the ordinance for dealing with people parking on the front yards has been removed off of tonight's agenda. It's going to be on our committee agenda for the July 24th. With approval of council, it will be back on the agenda potentially in August. There's a few things to request of Mr. Harrison. We opted to place it back on the agenda. So if you'd like to speak tonight, I know there's a couple people, you can feel free to do so. If not, we'll be meeting on July 24th in the caucus room at 7:30. And if we decide at that time to make any adjustments, it would potentially be on the August agenda, which would be 1 month from tonight. So item A, the ordinance for additional parking, front yard parking, will be removed from tonight's agenda, not considered. Okay, at this time, I'd like to move to the reports, the officials, and the library director's report.
Good evening. My name is Christine. I am the director of Your Public Library, where we provide services to inform, inspire, and enrich the community. Summer reading is in full swing, and there are so many classes and programs going on, I couldn't decide which ones to talk about. So instead, I would like to talk with you about some of the services of which you may not be aware that are available at the library. Overdrive, where you can download ebooks, e-audio, and e-video for free with your library card. Flipster, which is a new service that we have where you can download digital magazines. So it's the magazines including all the ads and everything just in a digital format. We have Ancestry Library that you have to come into the library to use. All the other services you can use from anywhere to research your family history. Comics Plus, if you like comics and graphic novels. We have access to Universal Class, which has over 500 non-credit classes for you to take. It could be anything from crafting to microbiology. So it runs the gamut. We recently subscribed to Quello Concerts, so you can listen or stream live music concerts. Well, they were live. They're not live at, they're not live when you watch them. They were live concerts. Freegal, where you can download 5 songs per week for you to keep. We have 3D printer services and classes, one-on-one technology appointments. We have access to databases. So 2 of the most popular resources that people look at are the Chilton's Auto Repair, so if you're trying to figure out how that electrical system works on your car, or Consumer Reports, when you're looking to buy something and would like to see unbiased reviews. We have some non-traditional items that we circulate, such as our GoPro camera. We have audio and visual equipment that you can borrow. It was purchased with a grant for oral history, but you can use it for whatever you would like. We circulate guitars, and I meant to bring one with me. We have Take It, Play It kits. For the summer, we have like badminton and volleyball. We have kickball. A water kit, so there's a sprinkler in there, there's water balloons, there's bubbles, that kind of stuff. So you can take those with you for 3 weeks. Also, we have 6 book clubs for you to enjoy. Pinochle Club, Scrabble Club, a Button Club. We have a conversation salon if you just enjoy the art of conversation. We have a memory cafe that meets once a week that is for people with dementia and their caregiver to help give some support to both. We have a walking club, and we have a monthly class called Appy Hour, which talks about some of the apps which you may have missed but you just can't live without. And we do have a YouTube channel where you can see Missy Lane and her 5-minute bedtime stories, or Book Nook. I do 1-minute book recommendations, which are rarely ever 1 minute. We have highlights on there from some of our special events if an author visits or if we have a special speaker. And we also have our Check It Out episodes on there. That's our monthly talk show. We talk about what's going on in and around the library. So those are just a few things that I wanted to tell you about that you might not be aware that your library has besides books and movies and audiobooks. That is all.
Any questions? Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. If we can turn to the police chief's report, and Chief O'Connor.
Mr. Mayor, Council, hi everybody, Chief here. I'd like to welcome everybody to join us on National Night Out. BPPD again will be having our annual nightly events, and it's Tuesday, August the 1st. So if you want to have a party or some kind of event, please contact Detective Dixon and she'll get you registered. Point 2 here, the pipeline replacement project. Please follow the posted detour and watch your speeds in the area. We have our speed trailer, the monitor is posted up on Church to try and help everybody see how fast they're going. And also our traffic officers are going to step up enforcement efforts in the area over there. So you have been forewarned. Follow us on Facebook. Again, there's no Crime Watch meetings through the summer, but you can follow us on Facebook. We'll put things up as they come up, and you can always see what's going on. And finally, I'd like to thank Mr. Denson of Civil Service for their assistance and their hard work in the hiring process. Questions?
Thank you. Any questions, comments? Thank you very much, Chief. We turn to the fire chief's report.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Bob Brown. I'm the Assistant Fire Chief at Bethel Park Fire Department, here to give you our monthly report for the month of June. A little bit busy during June. We had a total of 52 calls for the month. I'll just break them down for you quickly. We had 1 structure fire, 1 vehicle fire, 3 vehicle accidents. We had 1 call where we just canceled en route. Another call where we assisted the medics, 1 hazardous condition call, 1 hazmat release investigation, 10 gas leaks. Unfortunately, a lot of those, or probably half to 3/4 of those, are with the construction and the pipeline replacement that the chief spoke about. Which that is not many, given the amount of pipeline they're replacing over there. So it's not. Seemed like a lot for the month, but it really isn't, given the amount of work they've been doing. We had 5 power lines down calls, 13 fire alarms, 4 CO alarms. Finally, we had 11 calls that were storm-related, flooding-related on that. I can't remember the days of the week it was, but it was 2 days back-to-back. And along those lines, to follow up, if the public's out driving, and they come across an area where the roadway's starting to flood, and it's, up over your wheels, the best thing to do at that point is stop, turn around, and go another way. Unfortunately, we have people that want to try to get through there, then they become trapped. Not only do they put themselves at risk, they put the first responders at risk that have to come and try and get them out of there. So our recommendation is you come across floodwaters, stop, turn around. As they say, turn around, don't drown. And especially in Bethel, our problem areas seem to be, when we get a heavy rain, it's down around 88 near the Walmart Plaza. Keep going down the 88 corridor, it gets it again at the Park intersection. Continue on down the 88, a lot of times near the Clifton Road, Sandy Creek Apartment, West Library Crossing down that way. So again, if the public just uses, uses common sense, it'll go a lot better for everybody. And finally, one thing with the storms and relatedness of that, you might want to look into having a storm preparedness kit for your home. The best thing, the easiest way to see what you might want to keep in that is just Google storm preparedness kit. And it comes up and it'll give you numerous things, too numerous for me to go through, but you can pick and choose the ones that seem important to you for your residents. It's just a good thing to have, not only in your residence, but it also will help you if you want to put one in your vehicle. And I believe that is all I have for the month, unless there are any questions.
Any questions?
Yes, sir.
I wanted to ask the chief, but how long is that construction going to be on with that?
I'll do-
It's into the fall, and I can't give you it's how fast they work and how many problems they hit or run.
A couple more months in.
Yes.
Okay.
One other question here. Noticing that you have the sidetrack, up at the top of Church Road, the church, the Presbyterian, a lot of people are trying to get through there. Now, you have a left turn there. Now, people, I don't know if you can avoid that sign because you're trying to get down that way, or you have to obey that sign still, no left turn.
Yeah, we're gonna follow the signs. Yeah, we have put the lights on at Fort Koch Road, and we put them on flashing.
At the top of the
Yeah,
church.
I know, that's, other than the flashing lights, we're not gonna make any changes.
Okay. Thank you very much. At this time, can we turn to the mayor's report? And Mayor Allen.
I just have a few reminders this evening. The first one is our 90-plus luncheon that we have for senior citizens, October 6th. And if you know anybody that's in an assisted living home or whatever, they're certainly welcome. You can pass it on to them. October 6th at noon at the community center. If anyone's interested, call Janet Davin, which is 412-831-6800, extension 211. Saturday, July 22nd at Upper St. Clair High School, State Representative John Marr is having a paper shedding event, and that's from 9 to 11, July 22nd at Upper St. Clair High School. The next thing I had to remind is a yard waste pickup, and that is yard waste can be placed in a brown paper bag, recycling bag, shrubbery and tree trimmings not to extend 4 feet in length, 4 inches in diameter, and that is, I believe, the third Saturday of every month. All items have to be placed on the curbside by 7 a.m. Grass clippings and yard waste can also be bagged and placed with your regular waste or your pickup, your trash, as long as you have the 15-bag minimum. Also wanted to remind everyone the Bethel Park Farmers Market is still every Tuesday up at St. Thomas More, and that's from 3 to 7. And that'll run until September 26th, so we're about halfway through the season. And the last thing I had was our Tower Concert Series, which actually started yesterday. It'll run through August 13th every Sunday at the Community Center. The concerts begin at 2:30, and they conclude by 4 o'clock. The admission is free, but they do accept donations. So that's all I have for this month.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Any questions?
Questions?
Hearing none, can we turn to the municipal manager's report and Mr. Arbaugh?
Good evening, everyone. Sean Arbaugh, Municipal Manager. Just wanted to give a couple quick updates. One of the first updates, August 31st at 6 p.m., we're going to have a town hall meeting at the community center. There will be light refreshments and some snacks provided. It's going to be a great opportunity for citizens to come out, listen to a bunch of different things going on in the community, ask questions, and get to know some of the staff members. Additionally, the police department will also be there, also planning and our parks department. Also wanted to update you, we are currently under our 2017 road program. It is slated to begin tomorrow. Mealy & Sons will be throughout the community doing some stormwater inlet repairs on numerous streets. Soon thereafter, they will be coming back and doing the paving. They'll be most likely here through September, so apologize for any inconveniences, but hopefully the program goes well and we'll have some nice new paved roads throughout the municipality. Additionally, our 2017 stormwater project is underway. I know a lot of folks are seeing cones and different things on some stormwater basins. We are looking at a contract right now. We have it advertised for bids. We hope to have a recommendation to council for August 14th for them to approve our stormwater program and construction to start shortly thereafter. So there's about 40 basins on the list to repair this year, and it's going to be close to a $200,000 program. Lastly, just want to give you a quick update on our Public Works project. We are in the process of building a new Public Works building. Phase 1 is nearing completion. It should be completed by about the end of August. Phase 2 will start shortly thereafter. We also have started construction of our salt storage structure, which is a pretty large structure, 260 foot by 45 foot. And it's currently, the walls should be getting poured this week, and we hope to have that structure completed in early September. Thank you. Any questions?
Hearing none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to turn to the approval of the minutes, and Mr. Hannon.
First one is the regular council meeting of June 12th. I move that we approve the regular council meeting minutes of June 12th, 2017.
Second.
There's a motion and a second that we approve the regular council meeting minutes of June 12th, 2017. Any discussion of this item? Mr. Arbaugh, would you please call the roll?
Council Magno.
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Hannon.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
McLean.
Yes.
Maury.
Yes. Motion passed 7-0. At this time, I'd like to turn to the approval of the bills and payrolls. Mr. Hannon.
I move that we approve the bills and payrolls for the municipality per bill list number 071017, the amount of $1,483,582.41.
Second.
There's a motion and a second that we approve the bills and payrolls for the municipality per bill list number 071017 in the amount of $1,483,582.41. Any discussion of this item? Mr. Arbaugh, would you please call the roll?
Dixon.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Hannon.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
McLean.
Yes.
Maury.
Yes.
Council Magno.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. At this time, I'd like to turn to the resident comment section for non-agenda items. If you'd like to get up and state your name and address. I know there's 2 people signed up to talk about the parking. If you wanted to speak tonight, this would be the appropriate time. If not, you can come back next month if you'd like. Okay, if you want to just come up and state your name and address at the microphone. And we have a 3-minute limit. At the end of 2 minutes, we'll signify.
It fell. It's over here.
My name is Dave Parks. I live at 6016 Wallace Avenue in Bethel Park here. When I read the city almanac, it brought some concerns to me. The back streets in Bethel Park are only about 15 foot 3 inches wide. If you take a truck, something like a Silverado F-150 Tundra, it's 6 foot 3 inches wide. Or you take a mid-sized or a small compact car, which is 5.7, which is about 4 of these seats together for one vehicle. Okay, which gives you a total of about 3 feet 3 inches to get another car through there. My concern with this is emergency vehicles, as the fire chief said when he was just talking. There was 52 calls. If he can't get through to these calls because there's parking on both sides of the street, what do we have it for? A couple of my other concerns with if this goes into parking on the streets, as far as the Pennsylvania Insurance Commission is concerned, everybody's car insurance is going to go up in Bethel Park. Things that taxpayers in Bethel Park are entitled to through the taxes: snow removal, garbage pickup, and street sweeping. If you start putting these, allowing the parking, not to park in the front yard on little pads people have or whatever, then these are all relentless to everyone and useless to everyone. People walking up and down the street where I live, okay, you got little kids riding bicycles and everything. If you're blocking the view with these cars parked up inside down the street, you're asking for some child to get hurt or someone to get run over. I would like to hear some things went at the July 24th meeting of what the council study on this was, okay? Another concern is what happens if there's somebody selling something door to door and they park in front of your house? Who's the one that's going to be fined for that car sitting in your, that's parked somewhat in your yard? I think the police in Bethel Park, I think they've got their hands full with other things, the drug problem we have in Bethel Park, the break-ins, so on and so forth, bank robberies, which we recently had one. Okay, this is the last thing they need, to go around knocking on people's doors and say, I've got to fine you because you've got a car sitting in the front yard. If you look at some of the older houses built in the 50s, everybody's garage doors in the front of the house. It's in the yard. So, I just don't get, why this is such a big issue. There's not much of it going on. I mean, if we are trying to turn Bethel Park into a Knoxville or Carrick, I think this is the way to do it. If you pass this ordinance, this is what you're asking for. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anybody else like to speak?
Good evening. I'm John Dill. Is that on?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I stood in front of what Dad likes, the Irish priest. My name's John DiLallo. I live at 1565 Lucille Drive. That's in that Hamilton Heights, that little forgotten corner of Bethel Park that Mr. Harrison represents. Council, I have just a very few questions, and I'm going to submit these as a matter of the record. I'd like to know, number one, does this apply to motor vehicles only? Or does it also include boats, camping trailers, utility trailers, recreational vehicles, motorcycles, mopeds, and other such conveyances? I'd also like to have and again, you don't have to write this down, I'll be giving this to Kathy. Please define paved. For example, if I were to drop a truckload of gravel as an extension to an existing parking pad, would that constitute paved? Recent rains have proven that there are areas within the municipality prone to flooding. Additional paving will exacerbate that problem, and I'm wondering if stormwater runoff has been considered. And finally, will paving, whatever definition that falls into, be mandatory, or may one apply for a variance to the ordinance? And with that, would there be any cost to the resident in the application process for that variance? And I'll see you then on the 24th.
Thank you. Thank you.
Respectfully submitted. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Just for the record, I believe boats and recreational vehicles, if they're going to be parked, have to be parked behind the building line. So technically, they wouldn't be.
I know. I can't get there.
But it's illegal unless you get a variance. Just so you say. I'm sorry. Anyhow, we can address your concerns and issues at that meeting. Okay. Are there any other comments? Hearing none, I'd like to turn to General Policy and Finance and Mr. McLean. And before we get into this, I just want to make a couple of comments. The next 4 items on the agenda isn't because there's a big crime wave in Bethel Park, but we are going to be looking at hiring up to 4 officers tonight. I do want to thank Civil Service, Mr. Will and Mr. Denson, who this process, just so everybody knows, it's kind of twofold. One is it actually started in August of last year. We joined the SHACOG group, who actually did the testing for police officers in multiple departments throughout. I think there's 19 communities that participate in SHACOG. We were one of the communities that participated in the police test. So following the test, if I back up, they do an agility test first, if I'm not mistaken. So the people that pass the agility test then go to the written test. Then once we get the written test, there's, based on their scores, they're ranked, and then civil service and the chief do an interview process. So there's kind of two parts, one being the written, the second part being the verbal test. Civil service, because our police are under civil service, they actually give us a list of people when they combine the two scores. I'm sitting here saying it's an easy process, but they're the ones that do all the work. And once you get the list, then there's a process we go through to do background checks. And then the people have the great opportunity of meeting with this group, with counsel, and we kind of interview them. And really, I'll say from my personal perspective, by the time they get there, we know they're qualified. One of the things that we look for, that I look for, how they're going to fit in the community, what kind of personality, how they're going to interact. It really gives us a chance where we don't necessarily deal with the department on a day-to-day. We deal through the manager and the chief. It gives us kind of a chance to talk to them and get to know them a little bit. We interviewed a candidate tonight. So we are looking to hire up to 4 people. We could potentially hire a 5th at our August meeting because we have to get through the list. The reason we're doing it at this time, one is the list was actually certified in January, so it's a long process. Number one. Number two, we have 3 officers going to be retiring at the end of this year or between now and the end of the year, 2 of which I believe are sergeant. So one of the things council authorized at our last meeting is to do a promotional test for the police officers and the civil service. Once again, they do all this good work for nothing, and we appreciate that. But they're going to be given a test for promotional exam too. So we have 3 people that are going to be retiring between now and the end of this year, and then we have another retirement early sometime next year, and we also have somebody that'll be going on potentially a 1-year leave into the military. So this is kind of filling back up some of the people that have retired, people that are retiring in the near future, and this should hold us at least through the end of next year. So we're going to be looking to hire 4 people. So that's kind of the background. We vote on it tonight, but I'd like to once again thank Civil Service and the chief and everybody for all the hard work they did in getting us to this point. I believe we have a very good list of candidates. So, Mr. McLean.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. And the first item under General Policy and Finance is employment of police officer. I move that we hire Michael Antonese as police officer for the Bethel Park Police Department in accordance with Chief O'Connor's correspondence dated July 6, 2017.
Second. There's a motion and a second that we hire Michael Antonese as a police officer for the Bethel Park Police Department in accordance with the Police Chief O'Connor's correspondence dated July 6, 2017. This was the #1 candidate on our list of certified by civil service. Any discussion from council? Hearing none, Mr. Arbaugh, would you please call the roll?
Gibbons.
Yes.
Hannon.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
McLean.
Yes.
Maury.
Yes.
Consul Magno.
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Mr. McLean.
Second item is employment of police officer. I move that we hire Charles Thomas as a police officer for the Bethel Park Police Department in accordance with Chief O'Connor's correspondence dated July 6, 2017.
Second.
There's a motion and a second that we hire Charles Thomas as a police officer for the Bethel Park Police Department in accordance with Chief O'Connor's correspondence dated July 6, 2017. Any discussion of this item? Mr. Arbaugh, would you please call the roll?
Hannon.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
McLean.
Yes.
Maury.
Yes.
Consul Magno.
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Mr. McLean.
Next item is appointment of police officer. I move that we hire Anthony Agliori as a police officer for the Bethel Park Police Department in accordance with Chief O'Connor's correspondence dated July 6, 2017.
Second.
Motion and a second that we hire Anthony Agliori as a police officer for the Bethel Park Police Department in accordance with Chief O'Connor's correspondence dated July 6, 2017. Any discussion of this item? Mr. Arbaugh, would you please call the roll?
Harrison.
Yes.
McLean.
Yes.
Maury.
Yes.
Consul Magno.
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Hannon.
Yes.
Motion passed 7-0. Mr. McLean.
Next item is employment of police officer. I move that we hire Brittany Richter as a police officer for the Bethel Park Police Department in accordance with Chief O'Connor's correspondence dated July 6, 2017.
Second.
There's a motion and a second that we hire Brittany Richter as a police officer for the Bethel Park Police Department in accordance with Chief O'Connor's correspondence dated July 6, 2017. Any discussion of this item? Mr. Arbaugh, would you please call the roll?
McLean.
Yes.
Maury.
Yes.
Council Magno.
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Hannon.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Mr. McLean.
There are no additional agenda items under general policy and finance, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. McLean. Are there any additional items?
Mr. Murray,
Mr. Harrison.
last month I made a presentation outlining why I thought Judy Miller, the assistant manager, should be promoted to the manager's job. Mr. Murray is, he usually does, feels the need to make a comment anytime I make comments on the floor. So he came through last meeting and did that. In the comments he made, he suggested that I hadn't taken opportunity before that meeting to discuss my concerns. Well, I guess Mr. Murray's getting old and maybe his memory's not as good as it should be, but I'll tell you that just right after the interviews of the police officers, 3 of them which got appointed tonight, I sent an email to all council members outlining my arguments for promoting Judy Miller to being the manager of Bethel Park. Only one council member responded. Lori down here at the end responded. She commented on every single suggestion I made, said that she had considered all of those in her evaluation and had come to the conclusion that Sean was the correct person. I simply mention that because it, if you're trying to take an opportunity to do your job and communicate with the council and they don't care to respond to it, I don't know any other way to handle the situation except to make a comment on the floor. Thank you very much.
Mr. Murray. The reason we don't communicate via email is it's illegal to communicate in a non-advertised, deliberate in a non-advertised meeting. So it's kind of interesting that Mr. Harrison always talks about the illegal actions. Well, tonight, he's admitting that he does these illegal actions. So that's why we don't communicate. When we get together, we meet, we discuss, and we had ample time on all these issues to talk about. So read the sunshine laws. You know, we should not deliberate via email or a non-advertised meeting. Thank you.
Mr. Murray?
Mr. Harrison.
I would ask our super lawyer to has an opinion on that, but I'm not for sure I can digest another one of his Philadelphia lawyer type thing. But I suggest that when I let council members know my opinion on certain items, I'm not asking them to accept them. I'm simply letting them know that we do need further discussion on the consideration. So, if I violate the law, I apologize for it. But I guess I still don't understand why you consider that a violation of the law. Thank you very much.
I'll turn to Mr. McTiernan about deliberations via non-advertised meetings.
Mr. Maury's statement of the law is absolutely correct, and I hope that's a simple enough statement of Pennsylvania law so there's no confusion, Mr. Harrison. You're not permitted to deliberate by email, and when you make a comment or you invite comments from a fellow elected official, you are inviting a violation of state law, which is not met with an apology. It carries fines and other consequences. So that is a brief summary of what the law is, what the consequences of the law are, and what your conduct constitutes, which is inviting deliberation, which is a violation of the Sunshine Act. It's not saying, I hope we will have an opportunity to discuss a subject at an upcoming meeting. You're saying these are considerations we should take into account. You're inviting deliberation and response, and I think it's disingenuous to suggest that that kind of comment you're not. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you very much. Okay, are there any additional items? Hearing none.
We can't speak.
Yeah, we're not. Okay. Can we turn to planning and zoning and Mr. Dixon?
Mr. Maury, I have nothing to report this month.
Thank you, Mr. Dixon. Are there any additional items? Hearing none, can we turn to health, safety, and welfare and Mr. Hannon?
Mr. Meyer, we have no items under health, safety, and welfare this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Hannon. Any additional items? Hearing none, can we turn to public works and maintenance and Ms. Gibbons? Thank you, Ms. Gibbons. Are there any additional items? Hearing none, is there a
Move
motion
we
to adjourn?
adjourn.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned and good night.